Hello and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Chris Baker.
And I'm Sophie Fulcher, reporting on lean production. We are going to discuss whether lean production is in fact something that UK businesses should implement. We were talking to Tony, CEO of Airsprung, and he said that lean production is not necessarily the right choice for all types of businesses.
Lean production can be a good method to use in industries as it reduces waste products and related costs. However, it does not suit all production processes.
It suits the work done at Airsprung as they are manufacturing on such large scale. However, if it was a smaller business producing less products, then there would be no need for lean production.
I agree. However, it does manage to improve the quality of the product as the employees are specifically trained in one area.
This may be true, but what if the workers get bored of doing the same job day in, day out?
I agree with you there, Sophie. I wouldn't want to do the same thing every day, but for some people, this is what they enjoy, and sometimes the businesses use job rotation to improve the motivation of their staff.
I see. This is a good way to encourage employees to produce the best quality possible.
Yes, however, Airsprung doesn't use job rotation. Here's Tony to tell us more.
We don't have very high job rotation in Airsprung. We have job rotation if there are health issues. People doing the same job repetitively can develop certain repetitive strain type injuries. So when there are issues like that, which do occur occasionally, we do then job rotate. But it's not highly common in Airsprung, and it's a good point. There's a lot of study carried out over many years now that suggests that job rotation gives employees more empathy for what they're doing, more interest, and therefore the productivity in the job, the work is done better. Having said that, there is also quite a lot of body of work that says in cell manufacture, where the cell are manufacturing a product like a car, the fact that the people specialise on what they do, the quality of the car, at the end of it is also better. So I'm not sure it's black and white in terms of where the truth of that lies, but it's actually it's well worth exploring, and it's something that I'm going to have a little more to think about, actually, as was mentioned earlier. But I don't think it's a black and white. You job rotate, the world's a rosier place. It's not. Business and manufacturing and work isn't really quite so black and white as that.
A main benefit of lean production is that customers are usually more satisfied with the quality of the product.
But how does this actually help?
Well, if the customers are happy with the product, they are more likely to repeat purchase, and also they may tell others about how good the product is, and then the business may gain a larger customer base.
Wow! Also, if the quality is good, then there will be less faulty or waste products.
Exactly.
What happens if the specific area in the production circle doesn't meet deadlines? Would this not affect the whole business?
You're right. If deadlines are not met, the whole production may slow, or even in worst cases, stop. However, this is very rare as the company gives price or other incentives to keep the employees working hard.
Here's Tony to tell us how Airsprung motivate their employees.
We have each group of people, a cell, are bonused on productivity and quality of the products going out of that cell. So we actually don't, many years ago we stopped incentivising individuals for what they did themselves. And the reasoning for that, because I think it's quite useful to know, is that there was always the opportunity for individuals to look after themselves as to the financial benefit, rather than worry about really what the product looks like and the quality of the product. Is it correct? Is it the right one? And there was quite a lot of picking and choosing amongst the smarter people as to what they did. So their bonuses were a bit like the bankers, really. So their bonuses were higher than their colleagues. When we made a lot of changes in the business at that time, around about 10 years ago, and we removed those personal payments, and we incentivised the group now, and the group now has to produce the quantity, the quality, the output, the productivity, and all the group get a share of that bonus, of that incentive payment. If any individual in the group fails, the group fails, and nobody gets anything. And the intention behind that is clearly to drive peer pressure. So if somebody is slacking, somebody doesn't care, somebody isn't bothered, then their colleagues say to them very clearly, I should think, you need to pull your finger out because we're all suffering financially because of your unwillingness to do your job properly.
Airsprung isn't actually a newly established business. In fact, it has been around for over 100 years. In 1871, Hedley Chapman opened the factory in Trowbridge.
That's right. Chapman was a firm believer in quality and value for money. Because of this, the company's morals are still the same today, and that is what's made it move from strength to strength. We will now hand you over to Anna to give us a better insight into the history of Airsprung.
In the 1900s, mass-produced mattresses were seen as a sophisticated luxury. The methods Airsprung developed also became sophisticated and modern. This ensured that the company was ahead of the technological game. In the 1930s, people discovered spring mattresses. However, Chapman and his business, Airsprung, fitted out the factory with brand new machinery, which established the company's loyal name that we have now. Over the past 130 years, Airsprung has become a leading bed manufacturer, closely behind their main competition, Silent Night. They now employ over 600 people nationwide, but their motto and morals that were established back in the 1800s haven't changed. The main aims of Airsprung are Now over to Ellie with more about the company Airsprung and its principles of lean production.
Kaizen, the Japanese word for continuous improvement, is a main concept at Airsprung. They strive to achieve the best possible quality for their products, and this means every employee is productive.
They also use the Kanban principle, which means they only produce a product when the customer order is placed. This means they will need less warehouse space as they will not be storing as many products, which helps minimise total costs once the order is placed.
They also use a just-in-time stock control, which is where the products are only arrive when needed. This also helps to keep costs low and again, less storage space is needed. This encourages MUDA. They also use a just-in-time stock control, which is where products only arrive when needed. This also helps keep costs low and again, less storage space is needed. This encourages MUDA, which is anything wasteful that doesn't gain profit. Having the products delivered only when needed supports this, as the company only using and holding what they need, so there is no waste.
Another idea Airsprung refer to is time quality management, otherwise known as TQM. This relies on employees to be involved in their own quality control checks and working within the teams.
Airsprung also uses cell production. This is where employees work together as a team in different sections of the manufacturing process. This is a good method as it means workers are able to encourage anyone that slacks and increasing production, because if anyone in the team slacks, the whole team suffers.
Back to Chris to talk about how Airsprung managed the recession.
During the recession, Airsprung sales dropped. People didn't have the money to spend on mattresses, therefore they shopped at cheaper, less quality shops. Airsprung overcame this by coming up with a unique piece of machinery, inspired by when they went on a visit to China. They came up with a machine which flattened and rolled up the mattresses to make them take up less space. This meant they could fit many more mattresses onto lorries and therefore reduce the costs.
Really what it is all about, there's a lot of detail and a lot of fluff and nonsense, but actually the reality is that's what you're trying to do. You don't want labour, materials, raw materials, finished goods, lorries sitting around that are doing nothing. And all that lean production, all lean production tries to do is to say, what is the very last moment, all of those things come together to get that product made, it's gone out the door, it's gone to your customer, it's paid for, compared to when you're paying your labour, your people, your raw materials, and that's what lean production does. So when you say, what benefits does it give? Well actually, it's allowed Airsprung to be a profitable and viable business.